If any of you ever have the opportunity to drive through downtown Gary, Indiana, you have a vision of that of which Isaiah was speaking in his prophecy from God, when he said that Judah was desolate and forsaken. Gary's a ghost town, once a thriving small city, and then with the decrease of the price of steel on which it was built, it's been declining ever since. You drive through Gary and you see building after building just boarded up and abandoned. Well, that's what Jerusalem was like for the people to whom Isaiah spoke his prophecy. Most of the people had been taken out of Jerusalem and sent off to Babylon, and there was really just a skeleton crew left behind to take care of basic things. All of Judah's former glory was gone. And I'm sure that the people of God sitting in Babylon wished that they could have a do-over. If only God would give them a second chance, they would be faithful this time. Of course, you and I both know that no matter how many chances you give old Adam, he's always going to rise up against God. There'll never come a day when our fallen nature does not seek to dethrone God and take that throne for himself. Isaiah's prophecy really isn't about second chances. God could give us all the second chances in the world. We would never get it right. That's why extreme pietism is an exercise in futility. That's a branch of Christianity that believes that you can punish yourself enough to stop doing bad stuff, and then so to please God. No, go ahead, beat yourself up for sinning. You're going to still sin. You're going to still sin again and again and again, and you're not going to be any better than anyone else for beating yourself up. You cannot earn points with God by doing good. First of all, because whatever points you earn by doing good would be destroyed by the greater amount of sin that you commit. By the way, if anyone here needs help identifying sin in your life, call me up. We'll set up a private meeting. I can help you find it. Second, you don't need points with God. Because why would you need points with God when the price of your salvation has already been paid by Jesus on the cross? Isaiah's prophecy is not about second chances. Isaiah's prophecy is about the whole price having already been paid. Just as our salvation was fulfilled, so our punishment was fulfilled on the cross. Now we have been drowned in baptism and resurrected from our fallen state. We have been made sons and daughters of the King. Isaiah says, "For Zion's sake I will not keep silent, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not be quiet, until her righteousness goes forth as brightness and her salvation as a burning torch." That's not a promise of a second chance to try to get it right this time. This is a promise of the whole universe having been turned upside down and sin destroyed. And you and I are God's delight. Do you get that? God does not just tolerate us. God does not accept us because he has to do so. God delights in us. You and I. We are God's delight because everything has been reversed. The prophet says, "For as a young man marries a young woman, so shall your sons marry you. And as the bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so shall your God rejoice over you. One of the joys of being a pastor who stays in the same place for a while is watching little girls grow up and getting to watch them walk down the aisle at their weddings. And what I most enjoy watching is the groom. The father of the bride usually looks like he's taking his daughter to the gallows. But the groom looks dumbstruck. Men don't cry all that often, but it's pretty frequent that tears are in the eyes of grooms when he sees the woman he loves more than life itself walking down that aisle to join him for a lifelong union that he intends to become one flesh with. And sometimes he knows for the first time in his life what it is to be helplessly and hopelessly in love. I suspect it's the same for women, but not being one, I don't know. But I suspect it's the same. As a man, I can tell you that we don't experience those moments all that often. Probably at our marriage and at the birth or adoption of our children. Those may be the only times that we really know what that kind of love is like. That overwhelming, powerful kind of love flowing over us. And it's really quite amazing. And I tell you, it's a little bit frightening too, to love another human being like that. We get that from God. That's what God feels for us. That's what it means when Isaiah says that we are his bride. That's how God feels for us. And all of that is possible because Jesus Christ reversed the sentence of death by taking death and hell upon himself. And then in holy baptism, he made us heirs of his fortune. He washed us clean and reunited us with his Father so that once more we are his delight. It's not that we will be his delight someday. It's not that we'll be his delight if we're good. But right now, as we are, this very moment, we are God's delight. We have been restored to our place at the table. And that changes a great deal. Don't listen to the self-help preachers who are always telling you ways that you have to please God. And ignore the name it and claim it preachers who tell you that if you have enough faith, you'll please God and then he'll reward you. No, choose to listen to someone who knows what he's talking about. Listen to Isaiah. Listen to the prophet. In holy baptism, our names were changed. Yeah, once we were called desolate. Once we were called forsaken. But now the Lord Christ has completed his work, and you and I are once more God's delight, his beloved bride, the apple of his eye, the crown of creation, and he loves us really more than anything we can imagine.